commitment. We are actually under promise, over deliver. Where is the, I think you can pick up the number. Whoever number is there, in the tag, what you are wearing, there's a number there. If your number is there, come. We got some lovely gifts for you. We are going to give only 3 gifts now. We'll give little as we move around. Can you pick up one number? Yeah. What's the number? Oh, Downing Street, number 10. Who is it? Anybody got number 10? Number 10. Okay, next number. Anyway, number 10 is here. Please come. Number 10? No? Next. 167. 167. Not there? Okay, one more. 156. 156. Okay. Huh? Come. Anyway, number 10, if you are here, you can come a little later also. Now it's time to start the session. We won't delay any further. And only. Come. You give the gift to her. Come, tell her to give her. It's a lucky problem. Now we start. Start, sir. Number 10. Okay. Come. Ali, she's a lucky girl.
So round of applause to both those lucky winners who have been there. And thanks to all of you for being back on time. Maybe your chance comes next year. So ladies and gentlemen, moving forward with our next session, may I now invite the dignitaries to occupy their place on the dais. Ms. Meera Nair, Management Consultant, Chairperson for the session. Dr. Poni Concesao and Squadron Leader Moana Singh Jitarwal. Let's welcome the dignitaries with a round of applause. May I have the AV of distinguished panelists, please.
With over 25 years of corporate and entrepreneurial experience, Ms. Meera Nair serves as an independent director on the board of DBS Bank India and specializes in strategy and management consulting, particularly in the food and agribusiness sectors. Meera played a key role in founding NCDEX, National Commodity and Derivatives Exchange, India, contributing to the development of agricultural commodity derivatives markets. Additionally, she is an executive coach for CXOs and entrepreneurs. Meera holds master's degrees in agricultural economics and management studies, along with a degree in agricultural sciences, reflecting her deep-rooted knowledge and commitment to the agricultural industry. Architect Dr. Poni Concesao is the first woman architect to design a state secretariat in India. She has also worked on the Prime Minister's Housing for All project and the prestigious Gaganyaan Space Center at Sriharikota. She has won more than 192 international, national and state awards for architecture and interior design. She did her bachelor's in architecture in 1987. Masters at University, 980 in 1992. Dr. Poni worked with the internationally renowned architectural firm Edward Larrabee Barnes in New York City on several skyscrapers, university campuses and stadiums. She was conferred an honorary doctorate in modern architecture in 2008 in Malaysia and Università of Milano for modern architecture and architectural science in 2014. She received the Golden Jubilee Distinguished Alumnus Award from NIT Trichy from His Excellency the President of India Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in 2014. Squadron leader Moana Singh Jeetarwal created history along with Bhavna Kant and Avni Chaturvedi, becoming the first female combat pilots in the Indian Air Force. Commissioned in June 2016, she joined the fighter squadron after the government opened the stream for women on an experimental basis. Moana completed her schooling in New Delhi and holds a B.Tech in Electronics and Communication from Amritsar. Raised in an Air Force family, her passion for sports and arts was nurtured from an early age. In June 2019, she became the first fully operational female fighter pilot on the Hawk Mk-132 trainer, logging over 380 incident-free hours. Currently serving in No. 3 Squadron Cobras flying the MiG-21, her contributions were honored with the Nari Shakti Puraskar by President Ram Nath Kovind on 9th March 2020.
I think with these kind of phenomenal women achievers, I should be standing between you and them. May I now request Ms. Mira Nayar to take it forward.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, MMA, for giving me this opportunity. It is indeed an honor to be amongst all you women out here today. And it's a privilege, it's a daunting experience to be sitting with two accomplished women who have managed to make a mark in their male-dominated professions. Poni, she is an internationally acclaimed architect, and squadron leader Moana is one of the first female fighter pilots of India. Poni will come first. Poni, she's a globally renowned architect. She has won more than 190 international, national and state awards. She is the only woman who has won an Oscar. Mr. Oscar, who is her husband, who is here today. Since 1996, Poni and her husband Oscar have designed several projects which includes technology parks, apartments, shopping malls, townships, corporate offices, educational institutions, hospitals and villas. They have won more than 190 awards. She straddles different genres in architecture with complete ease. Now, Poni and Oscar are involved in Prime Minister's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana project. They've also built noon meal centers and toilets for underprivileged students and also for leprosy affected patients. Now, we'll let Poni build on from here. Request Poni to come here. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been given 10 minutes, so I'm going to squeeze in a little speech, a PowerPoint presentation of my works, and a tiny video for probably a minute. On the outset, I'd like to thank MMA and President Mahalingam and his wonderful team for giving me this great opportunity to address a fabulous audience such as yourself. I would like to wish each and every woman a very happy International Women's Week, I'd like to call it, or maybe a month. Women are the very force that sent Chandrayaan to the moon successfully. You are capable of just about anything and the sky is your limit. Things have changed drastically today, as society has now recognized women, our contribution to be the greatness of what develops a society and what makes a country great. Still, much needs to be done. Remember, a country's GDP is dependent on the increasing participation of women in the workforce. The demographics of women in India, as you all know, is 50%, but only 28% works in offices. The real brain power of India actually still languishes at home. Let me tell you my story. I was the first woman undergraduate student of the prestigious National Institute of Technology in Tiruchirappalli. I was one girl among 1,000 boys. Just imagine the challenges I faced. In NIT Trichy, I made lifelong friends. My husband was my senior from NIT Trichy, and I studied from the best of professors who encouraged me to study abroad. I studied at Cornell University, at Harvard University, worked in the best of architectural practices in the United States, where I learned two important lessons. One is the importance of gender equity to increase the GDP of a country. Two, the nuances of global business. It is very important to think global but act local. After nearly a decade, I returned back home to India with my husband Oscar to build an award-winning architectural practice and also, most importantly, to be a nation builder. Today, my alma mater, Cornell University, USA, has given me the title of the woman who shattered glass ceilings in India, especially in the building construction industry. As I have had the distinction of being the first woman architect in Asia to build a secretariat, the tallest, the largest secretariat in Hyderabad. I have continuously taken on challenges head on, and fighting these challenges have made me a stronger and more successful person. I believe in demolishing social conditioning, and I encourage every other woman to do so. A few decades from now, the younger generation that's sitting here, you will be successful professionals, businesswomen, industrialists, social workers, and homemakers. And it will be this powerhouse of women that will make India the next superpower on the world stage. Remember that if you are a successful revenue generator, any society will respect you, support you, and so will any man, and starting from the men in your family. As Indian women, we are lucky to have the central and state governments today to support all of our ventures. This is a rare moment in Indian history. If India is where she is right now, in the galaxy of successful nations, it's not because of just intelligent governance, but also the tireless efforts of women workforce that has changed the economic landscape of India. The scale of what you do doesn't matter, but sustaining what you will do in a continuous time frame is what makes you a success. My mantra of success is simply God and country. I believe in the 3 Ds: discipline, dedication, and devotion to goals. That ends my speech. I'm going to show you a little PowerPoint presentation of all of the works we've done for the past 25 years. PPT, please. NIT, Cornell, and OPR architects. I owe it all to NIT and Cornell, of course. So let me just shift on to the pointer. Can you just get this going? Now, this is the Telangana State Secretariat that we just completed last year. This is a 12 lakh square feet project, the seat of the Hyderabad Telangana government. 12 lakh square feet, which we finished in 2 years, built along sustainable lines and rated gold by the IGBC, the only secretariat in India to do so. This is a night view of the same secretariat. What you're looking at is the just completed Gaganyaan Space Center. I was very lucky to work with the Prime Minister's office on this. This is right there in ISRO in Sriharikota. This is the Kalaignar's Museum. It has the convention center, library and museum. It's about 1 lakh square feet. This is the International Convention Center. The proposal is in progress and it's bang on the beach of ECR. You're looking at one of the largest office spaces ever in south of India, 30 lakh square feet. Again, all of these IT parks are all LEED rated or IGBC rated. I am an eclectic designer. I swing from total classical, neoclassical to modern. I think that is important for an architect to have. These are all IT parks in different parts of the country. In Vizag, in Chennai, these are game towers in Hyderabad, IT park in Madurai. And this is the Satyam Technology Park. It survived, I don't know how many cyclones, but this is one of my few projects that I started off in the beginning. You're looking at Micromatic machine tools in Chennai. And then this is the leather bar, by the way, in the same hotel. We've done tons of universities. The most important of one are in Shastra University. I don't know if someone from Shastra is sitting here. All the nice buildings are designed by us. This is a nanotechnology park. This is the 5 lakh square feet academic core. And you're looking at the close-up of the library building, the administration building in Kumbakonam. This is a GRT campus, 5 lakh square feet, en route to Tirupati. A close-up of the same thing. The St. Bede's Auditorium and School, Chennai. Jiva Velu International School. We were taking the pyramid as an inspiration from the Arunachala mountain in the background. The Menorah House done in Portuguese style. Lawrence School in Ooty. We do a lot of high-rise buildings, and what you're looking at is buildings in Gurgaon, Hyderabad, and that's the tallest hospital in India that's being built right now by us. Contractors are L&T. Large high-rise apartments in Mangalore, Oscar's hometown. And this is one of my last slides. We did a beautiful residence in Malaysia. We have an international practice, by the way. This is the Al Ittihad football stadium in Doha, Qatar. So we have an international practice. We do all kinds of typologies, and I enjoy doing it. It's nice to shift gears. And of course, we've been lucky to win more than 190 awards. Thank you, India. I'm just going to show you a 1-minute video, just a minute, of the Telangana State Secretariat. Can you kill the lights?
రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం యొక్క గౌరవానికి అస్తిత్వానికి ఒక ప్రతీకగా ఉండే సెక్రటేరియట్ ప్రభుత్వంలో ఒక అద్భుతమైన ప్రొడక్టివ్ వర్క్ జరగాలంటే మొత్తం సెక్రటేరియట్, మంత్రుల ఛాంబర్లు, శాసనసభ, హెచ్ఓడీల సముదాయము, ఒక అద్భుతమైన కళాభారతి. ఈ లుక్ అట్ హైదరాబాద్ విత్ అవర్ ఓన్ విజన్.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Poni. And now we have the person who's only in the air most of the time. Squadron leader Moana. She's just a year older than my daughter. She's one of the first female fighter pilots of India. She was inducted into the Indian Air Force Squadron in June 2016. She has over 850 hours of incident-free flying. In March 2020, she was awarded Nari Shakti Puraskar by President Ramnath Kovind. Now, let's hear from the woman who's always on the air. I would request Squadron Leader Moana to take up on her stage.
Very good morning to all of you present here. This is probably the first time I'll be addressing a convention like so, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity. Usually it is everybody else asking the questions and we're just answering those questions. However, today I've got an opportunity to put on my point of view to the people. So we'll just start with a small video that
My father, grandfather both have served in Air Force and बचपन से उनको जब यूनिफॉर्म में देखती थी तो एक ही सपना होता था कि उनको प्लस स्कूल में कभी एजुकेशन ऑफिसर्स जब आते थे तो उन्हें लेडी ऑफिसर्स को देख के बहुत प्रेरणा होती थी कि किसी दिन हम भी इसी तरीके से यूनिफॉर्म पहन के ऑफ में चलेंगे. गिवन अ चॉइस आई वुड लाइक टू फ्लाई ऑल ऑफ देम.
Her story and dream about joining the Indian Air Force turned out to be an inspiration to many aspiring women. Moana's journey to IAF is not an easy one. She has had her share of struggles and sacrifices to be made. 2016 was a very memorable year for the Indian Air Force. That was the year IAF inducted the country's first 3 female fighter pilots. Flight Lieutenants Avni Chaturvedi, Bhavna Kant and Moana Singh broke barriers and stereotypes by becoming India's first ever female fighter pilots. Moana Singh was capable of carrying Hawk advanced jets. Moana Singh was born on January 22, 1992 in Khatipura village of Junjunu district of Rajasthan. She did her schooling from Air Force School in Delhi. Flight Lieutenant Moana Singh is also the first woman fighter pilot to fly a Hawk advanced jet. Her training included flying during air-to-air and air-to-ground combat missions. She's been part of several training missions, including shooting down rockets, cannonballs, and high-capacity bombs. Apart from this, she also has participated in Air Force level flying training. Moana Singh has over 500 hours of flying experience that includes 380 hours of flying Hawk AT-132 jets.
Spread your wings and fly high.
Hi, I am Squadron Leader Moana Singh, and as you have seen, I am a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force, and I have put in 8 years of service into this organization, and a feather to the cap that I also have 850 hours of incident and accident-free flying, which is a huge achievement. In my tenure, I have flown 4 different sort of platforms. When you talk about the aircraft, we have the training aircraft, which is the Pilatus PC-7. We have the age-old Kirins. Then we have the Hawk Mark 132s, and obviously the MiG-21 Bison. And probably soon I'll be in the Tejas cockpit as well. So I hail from Rajasthan, and I am married to a wonderful man, Mr. Mohit Rajput, who is a businessman. Being the 3rd generation member of my family to have served in the military, I am very thrilled to carry on the legacy. All right, so when you hear the words fighter pilot, what image comes into your mind? I was expecting that. So, I mean, Is it the Thunderbirds racing on the runway with a jet? Or is it the rockstar life like in Top Gun Maverick? Flying the high performance jets, drinking beer on the weekends, and just striving for more and more speed. So the truth is, while the life of a fighter pilot might seem very adventurous and full of fun, a lot of planning and preparation gets into being one. Hollywood has certainly not helped us. Because there is a lot more to being a fighter pilot than just rocking cool sunglasses or wearing a patch full of jacket. Like our fraternity says, it is an attitude. I remember the first time I was appearing for the interview at the Dehradun Selection Board. We have different selection boards pan-India. So if you give a written exam, then you pass that. Then you go for a service selection board wherein you have the different tests and interviews. And once you clear that, then there is medical, then there is merit list. So if you are lucky enough and you have worked your you end up where I am today. So when I first went to Dehradun Selection Board, I got screened out in the very first round. And I did not actually understand the nuances of it. However, my grandfather, who had taken me all the way from Delhi to Dehradun to appear for that board, was very disheartened. And I never understood, at that time I never understood that disappointment. However, I realized that that gave me a knack to keep on working for this goal. The day I got screened out, I made a promise to myself that if I do ever get selected in the Air Force, it will be from this selection board. And as luck would have it, 4 written attempts, 3 interviews, and 2 different selection boards. Years later, I was standing at the doors of the Air Force Academy to be a pilot. The training was obviously tough, for you have to be a soldier. And they train you to be a good soldier first, and then an aviator. So the first initial 6 months of combined training, which includes physical conditioning and general knowledge about the service-related subjects. And then you start the very first stage of what's going to be your bread and butter for your life, flying. I remember the first time I had gone on leave after the first 6 months of training at the academy. I had lost 16 kgs in 6 months. And I was standing in front of my house, and my mother failed to recognize me because all she could see was the teeth. So, yeah, apart from that, first day in the aircraft hangar, I came across a quote by Leonardo da Vinci. When once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you will always long to return. That is the addiction you have to flying. The meaning of this, obviously, I understood a few weeks later when I flew my first sortie, which was exhilarating. So after the first 6 months of flying, we undergo a trifurcation wherein the board sits and it decides who will be going to the fighter fleet, who will be going to the transports and the helicopters. And to be a fighter pilot, you're supposed to be in the first 75% of the merit, and you should have the trait wherein you don't need anybody else to judge your decisions, so that you can be put inside a cockpit of a machine worth hundreds of crores. So along came the decision to open the fighter stream to women in 2016, and I believe I was at the right time, at the right place at the right time, and ended up being here. It seemed difficult initially to consider a non-gender biased environment in this fraternity, wherein no pilot had ever shared a cockpit with a woman counterpart. We had our fair share of skepticism that we thought that we are going to face. But it was heartening to see how the fleet embraced the equality in its true sense. Our colleagues or our seniors, just like our mean machines, did not care about the gender. It was all about the flying skill and the competence. We used to have our fair share of being garloed when we used to make mistakes in the flying. Nothing stopped them. Since then, it has been an unstoppable journey, living one day at a time, because that's as far as we can think of. So, perseverance and discipline were my two pillars, which I owe a lot to. And they kept me up even at the toughest of the situations, wherein I thought I'll not be able to make it. So, job as an armed personnel is indeed demanding. A lot of people who are ex-armed forces here would be able to relate. It is a very demanding job. More so because there's a lot of duty. You don't get time for your family. There's a lot of transfers from one place to another. Plus, it requires you to be in the best of physical and mental state to perform that duty. And being a fighter pilot, since you have to take the decisions in split of seconds and you're all alone there in the cockpit, you have to be skilled enough to execute it. If I have to give credit to someone for what I have achieved till date, it will be my family's faith in me and their never-ending support. For when I chose to take the road that was less traveled by. And obviously, the organization to which I belong, which made it possible for me to follow my passion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Poni and Squadron Leader Moana, for such wonderful introductions. Now, Dr. Poni. So, Dr. Poni, how did you manage your social conditioning and break the glass ceiling? You have several first-year credits. You were the first woman undergraduate student at NIT Trichy, which you already told us. You were the first Asian woman architect to build a secretariat. So how did you manage your social conditioning, break the glass ceiling, and what advice do you have for the younger generation who are out here today?
Okay, it's like this. When I was in Church Park in the 8th standard, must have been 13, 14 years old, I don't remember. But I had a roadmap in my mind. I simply wanted to be a nation builder. And I wanted to pick a profession that I would excel in. So my dad was a civil engineer in the Indian Railways, and I had this affinity towards architecture, and so I chose architecture. The point is, you may have aspirations, you may have plans, and you may have this grand idea of what life has for you. But as you get into it, you hit roadblocks. For example, in NIT Trichy, I still remember, Mali is going to kill me, but I'm going to say this little story. I went to pay my fees, but the clerk told me we don't take girls. And it was such a terrible thing for me because I burnt every bridge back in Chennai, rejected all other admissions, and went to NIT Trichy. And I had a mom who was going to marry me off. I was just 16, 17 years old. So this was a do or die situation. So they said, go back home. I insisted on meeting the principal, marched into his huge, chambers, and he was a fabulous guy, no doubt about it, but one of the most intimidating guys ever I had met. So he told me, no admission for you. I'll get you a husband from NIT Trichy, very prophetic words, but go back to Chennai, do your BA, BSc, and your life is going to be made. I didn't bother listening to him. Of course, I was very patient and I said, look here, under the constitution, and mind you, this is a government college, you are duty bound and legally bound to give me an education, because the constitution says equal opportunities for both men and women, and that includes, education. Didn't like it at all, shouted me down. I didn't care. I still stood there and I said, I'll meet you at court. I just whispered to my dad and told him, get me the best of lawyers. I'm going to take this guy down. And mind you, I was just 16, 17 years old. So it all depends on your resolve, Of course, he was very kind. He took me in and he became my friend and mentor, by the way. So if you want to get what you want, remember there are roadblocks, but there's always a way around it. And you have to build a resolve to get to where you want to go. You cannot say that, oh, well, I didn't do it. I had this pressure. Those are only excuses. I wanted to go study abroad. Why? Because I was going to be a nation builder and I benchmarked the best of democracies and I found the US was the way. And lucky for me, NIT Trichy, 90% of our students go abroad. And mind you, Cornell, it was not easy. Mridula, you will kind of empathize with this. I was the first Indian woman in my department for a long time. We have casteism in this country. We have the same flaw in an international arena. There is a bit of racism and mind you, also gender bias. Don't think the US is a fabulous place. You can just about do everything. You have issues there and we are all human beings. We are supposed to have issues and we are supposed to fight them out. So when somebody in your family tells you, look, you're a girl, you're supposed to get married, have a family, just say no. Just say no. And it's these very naysayers today who say grand things about me today. So if you have a roadmap in your head, if you have a plan, just go ahead. And the world has changed today. People are more pro-women and the men are out there to support us. Just go ahead and use it. So do not believe in social conditioning. Do not believe in roadblocks. And never listen to someone who says no. Think positive. So I think that's what helped me.
So Moana, you spend more than 12 hours every day in your squadron. Your hours are long and relentless, grueling, and it can be really hard on your family life. Just tell us how your routine day looks like. How do you manage your work-life balance, routine transfers, and who supports you?
So, the starting of my day depends upon the sunrise. I'll quote an incident that had happened. One of my course mates, we were having a crib session with our commanding officer over a few drinks, and he cribbed about, sir, we should have early packups because we get in the SCON when it's dark. We get out of the SCON back to home when it's dark. We never get to see the sun. So the commanding officer said, buddy, I can't change the time the sun gets up and gets down. Sorry. So, yes, it is tedious. It all depends upon what mission we have and what planning we have to do for that mission, how much time that's going to take. And it's not just that a fighter pilot is just supposed to do flying. We are supposed to prepare for the missions. We are supposed to do secondary jobs as well. Where, since you are an armed person, there'll be a lot of other responsibilities on you and you have to do those. So there is no time as spare time for us. There are no weekends, something that my husband complains a lot about. And there are no plans for the leave. I mean, there are planned leaves, however, they don't go as planned. So it all depends upon when you're supposed to be available and for how long it's going to stay. And so being a part of this organization, the organization makes sure that you're trained to handle that amount of stress and that you're groomed in a manner where you're able to handle the personal and the work-life balance ratio. But notwithstanding that, an understanding partner and an understanding family who don't fight upon that, okay, you have 5 days of leave, you need to stay for 3 days here and 2 days there and just ration it somehow. So their availability and their understanding is of utmost importance. You might be posted to God-forsaken places, the names of places where you wouldn't have even heard. There were a lot of places which my husband had never heard of, though he travels to far-fetched areas. And once he married me, he got to know, okay, this is here. His geography has improved though. So he's the one who takes out time. He's the one who understands it. He is not demanding, though the job is. And I give a fair share of credit to him for making this work out, and to my family.
Wow, that's wonderful to hear. A very supportive husband and a good family for Squadron leader Moana and for our Poni here as well. Her husband, Mr. Oscar, is here with us today. Poni Konesso. She won a competition to design the iconic Hyderabad Secretariat, a true landmark. How is it being a woman in architecture in India, achieving and working on such scale and projects of significance, ranging from the Secretariat to other places? The magnitude was large. It started during COVID, and you had about 5,000 laborers working with you during pandemic, and then later on about 12,000. How did you manage all this?
Wow, it was really a fantastic experience for me, but I can tell you that Telangana State Secretariat was only a mid-sized project for us. The largest project we have done is 40 lakh square feet, and this was just 12 lakh square feet. But the complexity of the project in the middle of COVID, and you're dealing with a government setup. Government, I can tell you, is a very good institution, but not very kind to women, especially in building construction. They're so used to dealing with men. So it helped to have a male partner around, of course. I was very lucky to have a very understanding chief minister, somebody who empowered women. So barring him, he supported me through and through. In fact, he would put my name first and then Oscar's name. He just gave me a huge high. But anyway, the point is, the department was hostile. I worked with Chapurji and Palanji, one of the greatest of construction firms, but then they were not used to dealing with women. They didn't want to even make eye contact with me. I even had a minister, one of the ministers in the cabinet, who said, sit behind your husband. So, I mean, these things do happen, in practice. But this is, again, I'm saying government. ISRO was beautiful to deal with. So the point is, again, there are challenges. The minute you come out with your work and you make it a point saying that, listen to me, this is my design. And if you have a great client like the chief minister, things can fall in place, but a very, very daunting task. Second point is, it was during COVID. Our laborers ran away. Material was not available. Generally in projects, you buy materials off from China or Europe or, wherever. And that taught me a very important lesson about Make in India. You have to think global, but you have to act local. Always depend on local materials and local labor. Trust me, there are more COVIDs that are going to come. So this business of tapping your local communities, making them your economic engine is very, very critical. And these are lessons I learned out of COVID. At the end of the project, I'm telling you, both the chief minister, the cabinet, the department, and the contractor were terrified of me, because I never hesitated to get up and say, you're wrong. And if I was wrong, I'll say, yes, I'm willing to learn. So I think it's a business of what is sitting in your head. If you can tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do it, you will do it. Believe me, it's true. And the same goes for my other projects. Private practice is good, but government is oftentimes a little more challenging, and even that is changing. And kudos to our own Tamil Nadu government. I found that change, because in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, there is a lot of gender equity that happens in government and local communities. So these are lessons that I've learned, and I'm sure things will get a lot better.
Thank you. Moana, only one more question for you because it seems the time is running short and Group Captain Vijay Kumar was unforgiving about him. So I know that I don't know, I just read about it. Fighter pilots wear G suits. Your cockpit is air conditioned, but it can get extremely warm. You're alone in the cockpit, and several times you have to make quick decisions. It can be daunting, challenging, physically and mentally. How do you manage your fitness? How did your family actually agree to let you go on this? And then most importantly, what is your advice for the younger generation out here?
Okay, that was not just one question. So, taking on the first point, yes, we do fly in an air-conditioned cockpit, which works only once you're above 2 kilometers of height. So till the time you don't reach that 2 kilometers of height, you have already let out a bucket of sweat. And once you're back, you're happy that, okay, today's workout is done. So, yeah, the health is very important. To be in a fighter cockpit, you are supposed to have a medical category called A1G1. That is your highest category of fitness in air as well as on ground. So even if you have the slightest of cold, or you might just have a broken nail, or maybe you're depressed because your neighbor's dog has died or something, if you're not in the state, you will not enter the cockpit. That is a rule that we abide by. Because there is no mission, obviously a training mission, not an op, which cannot be flown another day. What is more important is you need to be in the right state to sit inside that cockpit. And once you are inside that cockpit, the world outside is shut out the moment you close the canopy. You don't have even a second to think about what's outside the cockpit at that time. To maintain our fitness level, everyone has their personal preferences. Somebody does yoga, somebody goes to gym. If at all you get time after 12 hours of working in the squadron. So otherwise, we generally maintain our weight, and every year we have our medical examinations, and which defines our category and whether we are fit to fly or not. And regarding the safety concerns, that how my family agreed to allow me to get into this fleet. See, as a fighter pilot, you're meant to fly planes to wars, dodge missiles, bullets, blast through the enemy defenses, bring down their jets. Does these sound safe to you? No, they don't. So nothing is safe if you bring the equation of equipment failure or the circumstances which are going to be unforgivable. The only safety you get in this job is in terms of the respect. You will be considered as one of the finest Indians. You fly thousands of feet above the air at speeds faster than the sound and protecting what is most precious to you, your country. And when I was signing up for it, my parents and my grandparents, they were all hell-bent on sending me to a transport fleet. Whereas my flying instructor told me there is no point in flying trucks in the air. So, and I had to convince my parents by stating that in case anything goes wrong, at least I have an ejection seat. So I would like to end this with a very short and sweet message. Like Dr. Poni said, it's all here. Even in the academy, it is told that it is all mental. If you think you can achieve something, or that you want to reach a certain standard, you can do it. All you need is a strong will. And you are a free bird. So just spread your wings and fly.
I could go on and on for days, just not hours, but days, actually, with these two wonderful women out here. But I've got the cues from Group Captain Vijay Kumar, and I have to end this wonderful session today. And I'm extremely thankful to both you accomplished women. You are both fearless in your own way. and I respect you both very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Meera Nair, for moderating the session so well and bringing the best out of them within this limited time that's available. Sorry, we had a lot of online questions and some questions here also, but we couldn't take them all. Sorry for that. May I request Justice Ms. Srimati, President MMA, and Ms. Mridula Ramesh to join us on the dais to honor the dignitaries. May I invite the winner of this year's MMA competition, Outstanding Woman Manager of the Year, Ms. Chitra, to come and receive the award first. She is an IRAS officer from the Indian Railways, working out of Salem, and she took her time off to be here this morning with us. She did a phenomenal job, competing out of about 20 to 25 women to be here today. And there was only one winner, and that is Chitra. She deserves a big round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Chitra, for being here with us. You can be here. That was Squad Leader Moana. Thank you, Squad Leader, for being here this morning and inspiring so many young students who are also attending the convention here, and many of them watching us online. And this is for Ms. Poni. You can be here. The group photo, yeah. So normally people get Oscar awards. Here we have Ms. Poni, who's got Mr. Oscar as an award for her. Thank you all.